Welcome, everybody. My name is Professor Susan Smith-Peter, and I'm the director of the MA in Public History programs here at College of Staten Island, and part of CUNY. And I'm really excited to welcome you to our first MA orientation. The way it's going to work is I'll give a presentation first, and then you can ask any questions you have. And then Professor Joseph Frushi, who is assistant adjunct professor here, and he's going to be talking about becoming a social studies teacher and giving information about our alumni, because he did a whole project on finding alumni and tracking down what they've been doing. And then Carlos Santiago, who's the digital collections assistant for New York Genealogical and Biographical Society, is going to talk about becoming a public history professional. The third person wasn't able to come because of a family emergency, but since Professor Frushi is also an EDD, he can talk about that as well. So let's get started. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen, and I will let's see, and you'll be able to see the you'll be able to see my PowerPoint presentation. So what I'll do is, if you have any really urgent questions, I'll keep an eye on the chat, and I'll just see if you have any questions in the chat. I can address them right then. So this is the MA orientation, and first off, and the most important thing, is to say welcome. Welcome to all of you here. I'm really glad that you're here. I'm glad that we can speak about this and answer any questions that you have, and to give you just an overview of what the program is like and what you can expect from it. So first off, congratulations. You made this excellent choice of joining our programs. We've got excellent faculty, very low tuition, especially if we're comparing it to the other two public history programs, which is NYU and St. John's University. That's a lot of money for those. A lot of opportunities for internships. There's a big network of alumni in the region, and Professor Frushi will be talking about that. As you go through the program, you'll find that each semester I advise you about your schedule. That way I can keep track of what you're doing, and if there's anything you've overlooked, and just make sure that you keep on track. But we have these ideal schedules that are going to be available very soon on our website, and I just thought it would be useful to go through a few of them now. All right, this is if you're just decided to do the History MA, the full-time program, and do the thesis option. Now, the thesis is where you are writing a substantial piece of work. It's usually around 50 pages. You have some kind of independent thesis argument that you're making, a thesis statement that you're making, and you are writing it up specifically for this. And here you can see 701, the field, whichever the content course you have, and then you have your other content course. And then here you've got the field 4, and you start in year 2, preparation of thesis. You've got an elective, and then this is the final thesis tutorial. Preparation of thesis, like here, you'll be working on your introduction and also your historiographical section. And 799, you'll be working on the body of the thesis and any necessary revisions. So you can see that it's designed for you to finish in 2 years, right? So that's the idea. You'll finish in 2 years, right? And here it is with the portfolio option. Right, with a portfolio, you will be choosing 2 research or historiographical papers that you've done in classes up to that point, and you will revise them and put them together into a portfolio. Usually you expand them, and there's a defense, and then you finish, and you do that in lieu of the thesis. The public history certificate full-time program, you can see that the way it works is it's a year and a half. right? You've got this 701 in one of the public history courses, 718, another one, and then you've got your internship, and that internship brings it all together. If you do both of them together, the MA and the public history certificate, you have the internship in place of the thesis or the portfolio. So that's an important thing to know about. One of the things I wanted to talk about, especially because you guys are coming in pretty new, is that there's a lot of scholarship information out there, and I want to make sure that you're aware of it. And we'll be posting this presentation online afterwards, so you'll be able to see the information and click on it. So the CSI Scholarship Program is one of the best options, and because it's only open to people at CSI, and then if you apply for it, you can be considered both for the Lehman Scholarship and other scholarships. And as we see here, these are the general ranges, 1,000 to 1,500. Sometimes you can get more, and that's going to reopen in October. So I would encourage everybody to apply for that. All right, CUNY University Senate Scholarship. So this is one where they ask you, and we have a similar kind of range here. You can go online and you can look into it. You can find out about the requirements, and you can ask questions about the scholarship. It's always good to find out more. Right? Jacqueline Schiller Fund Scholarship, several of our students got this scholarship recently, and it's for people who are doing degrees in literature and or history, and it's around 1,000, and it's usually mid-July. So I've sent out information, and that is also for graduate students, and we had some graduate students who won this scholarship. It's like most scholarships. You've got an application, you've got an essay, and but it's certainly a doable process, right? Specific information on Hispanic or Latinx and African-American students. For Hispanic students, we have the Hispanic Scholarship Fund, the 100 Hispanic Women National Incorporated. Both of those are giving scholarships. Congressional Black Caucus Spouses Education Scholarship. Unfortunately, Staten Island is not in that group, but if you're from another borough, you might qualify. If you are, take a look and just see if you qualify. And then UNCF, right, which has been around for a very long time and has given many, many scholarships. So these are things to at least keep in mind. And if you wanted to get really ambitious, there's of course other things like the Fulbright program. We have one of our students who got a Fulbright to go to Italy. It was a really wonderful experience. He took that year out to go to Italy. He came back, and then he finished the program, and that is of course a really great experience, because Fulbright is one of the most prestigious scholarships. Now, there's also more information. You've probably seen this, at least with the CSI financial aid website. There's stuff with like federal work study, but it's also useful for you to know this email, Michelle Callahan, and she is HE assistant at Office of Scholarship and Fellowship Opportunities. And she said that she would be willing to answer any questions that you would have. So one of the things we're doing is, because things are so digital and so virtual, we're trying to make it so that students have an ability to meet with other students and people in the field that are congruent with what they're interested in working on. So we've got these three different groups: present or future social studies teachers, aspiring public history professionals, and future PhD or EDD students. And Dr. Frushi, as I said before, will speak about his work in creating a group of social studies teachers. And we'll also give an overview of our alumni, because he's done a whole project to look at the trajectory of our alumni. And Carlos Santiago, who's the digital collections assistant at New York Genealogical and Biographical Society, will talk about how to become a public history professional. And also, I just want to give a shout out to this book, Jessica McCrory-Calarco, A Field Guide to Grad School. I found this just in the New York Public Library, and it's tremendously useful. She just recently got her degree. I mean, I, of course, also went to grad school, but it was a while ago, and I'm not sure that my advice would be very useful anymore. But she just recently went through the process, and she really breaks it down and explains, if you do want to become a professor, the things that you need to do. So I would recommend that book to anybody who is interested in going that way. Okay, that's it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the share, and I'll just take a little bit of time to see if there are any questions, right? Does anybody have any questions? Because we're going to be going on to other presentations. No? Okay. Well, let's go on to the next presentation then, and Professor Frushi will take it away.
Thank you, Professor Smith-Peter. For those that don't know me, my name is Professor Joseph Frushi. I've been with CSI. I'm coming up to my 10th year now. And aside from this, I also teach social studies for the New York City Department of Education at Staten Island Technical High School. So what we've begun to undertake here at CSI, particularly our history department, is doing some outreach to see which students are interested in which path they want to take their history degree in. And we're finding a large amount of students are coming out of the College of Staten Island School of Ed wanting to become social studies teachers, but not taking the right courses or the right content areas in achieving a state license in social studies education. So I'm just going to bring you through my background a bit so you can kind of see where I found my footing with this. I also have a BA and MA in history. And when I came into the New York City Department of Education, I was told I was lacking some of the education credits needed. I then had to go back and do a certificate program to get that. The great thing about CSI in our history program, and it's a program we have in the department that's